Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
We're digging into some interesting sources you sent over this week, all about fine pixel pitch LED displays.
That's right.
Now, these are those super sharp video screens where the pixels, the little lights, are packed incredibly close.
Yeah, really tight.
And that fine pitch means you get, like, crystal clear images, even if you're standing right up close.
Exactly. And that clarity is becoming, well, more and more important as we use screens in closer ways.
So our mission today is to really unpack the material you shared. Looks like a 2025 market report is the main source here.
Yep.
We want to pull out the key insights, get a handle on where this market is actually going. Think of it as the shortcut to getting up to speed.
Definitely. Saves wading through all the dense report pages. And there's some pretty compelling numbers to kick things off.
Yeah, you're not kidding. This report puts the global market size for these displays at, get this, USD 364 million in 2025.
Already a substantial market.
Right. Okay, so that's already significant. But here's the really interesting part. They're forecasting it to, well, basically skyrocket
Go on.
to USD 710.18 million by 2033.
Wow. Okay, that's quite a leap. And the report gives a KGR for that period.
It does, 14.60% between 2025 and 2033.
Right, the compound annual growth rate. So 14.6% average annual growth over nearly a decade.
Yeah,
In the tech world, that kind of sustained growth, that's definitely worth paying attention to.
absolutely. It shows some serious momentum, doesn't it? And this isn't just guesswork, apparently.
No, the report looks back, right? Historical data.
Exactly. It covers 2021 to 2024 for historical context, and then forecasts out to 2033. So it seems pretty comprehensive.
Gives us a solid footing then, not just where we are now, but the trajectory.
Okay, so let's stick with that global view for a second.
Yeah.
USD 3.26 billion in 2025, heading towards, what, 9.7 billion by 2033? That 14.6% growth, what's the main thing driving this?
The report boils it down to the increasing demand for advanced visual experiences.
Makes sense.
Yeah, think about it. Entertainment, information, advertising, communication. We just expect higher quality, more kind of immersive visuals now.
And these fine pixel pitch LEDs really deliver that.
They absolutely do.
Okay, so that's the overall driver. Now, the regional breakdown is always interesting. North America seems to be leading the pack currently.
Yes, for 2025, North America has the biggest slice of the pie, over 40% share,
Wow, okay.
which translates to about USD 107.68 million, and still growing pretty well there too.
What's the growth rate?
Projected CAGR of 13.0% through 2033 for North America.
13%. Okay, still very healthy. Europe's number 2.
Correct. Europe holds over 30% of the market. That's USD 946.56 million in 2025.
Then their growth.
Also strong, projected at 13.6% CAGR.
Okay, so North America and Europe, the big players right now. But I'm always curious about the fastest growth. Where's that happening?
And that is the Asia-Pacific region, APAC.
Ah, okay. What's their share now?
Around 23% in 2025, so roughly USD 783.36 million.
Right.
But here's the kicker. Their projected CGR is 17.5%.
Whoa, 17.5. That's noticeably higher than the others.
It really is. It signals that APAC is, really set for some explosive growth in this area.
So while North America wears the crown now, the big story might be APAC catching up, maybe even overtaking. Interesting if you're looking at, say, global investment trends.
Absolutely. The report mentions strong demand for advanced displays in key APAC countries as the reason for that acceleration.
Gotcha. What about the other regions? South America, Middle East, Africa? There's smaller shares, I assume?
They are, but still showing decent growth. South America is over 5% share, about $124 million, with a 15.3% CGR.
15.3%. Not bad.
Middle East is around 2%, about $130 million, but with a 16.0% CGR.
Oh, interesting. Even faster growth there.
Yeah. And Africa is around 1%, roughly $72 million, with a 14.9% CGR.
Okay, so solid growth across the board, really, even from the smaller bases. But yeah, that 17.5% in APAC definitely stands out.
It does.
Now, let's get into the specifics within the market. The report breaks it down further. Applications, for instance. Where are these things being used most, and where's the growth hottest?
Right. So the fastest growing category for applications is indoor.
Indoor. Okay.
Yeah. Think retail, trying to create those, really engaging shopping experiences.
Or corporate boardrooms.
Exactly. Corporate settings needing super clear presentations, entertainment venues wanting that wow factor. That's where the indoor fine pitch stuff is really taking off.
Ties back to that demand for better visuals we talked about. Makes perfect sense. We see those screens popping up everywhere indoors.
We do.
What about the actual pixel pitch? Like how fine are we talking? Any trends there?
Definitely. The 1 millimeter to 2 millimeter pixel pitch range, that's identified as the fastest growing segment right now.
1 to 2 millimeter. Why that range?
It seems to hit a sweet spot, offers, really superior resolution that looks great even from fairly close or medium distances.
So versatile for a lot of those indoor use.
Exactly. But there's a distinction. I saw you notice the below 1 millimeter part.
Yeah, it said that dominates, which sounds even finer.
It is, and it does dominate in terms of current overall market share. Below 1 millimeter gives absolutely exceptional image quality.
So for what kind of uses?
Really high-end stuff, broadcast studios, advanced control rooms, places where, absolute visual perfection is critical.
Ah, okay. So 1 to 2 millimeter is growing fastest for broader use, but sub 1 millimeter is still king for the top tier. Interesting.
Yeah, it's a good contrast.
What about the components? What's inside these screens? Any growth stories there?
Yep. The report calls out chips as driving the fastest growth on the component side.
Chips.
Meaning?
Mostly advancements in things like micro LEDs and also the driver ICs, the integrated circuits that control the pixels.
Okay, and how does that help?
Well, these newer chips enable even finer pixel pitches, they boost image quality, and critically, they improve energy efficiency.
Right, so the engine's getting better, basically. Sharper pictures, lower electricity bills. Good combo.
Very compelling. Okay, how about sales channels? How are these displays getting to market? Any changes there?
The report flags direct sales as growing the fastest.
Manufacturers selling straight to customers.
Seems like it. Suggests maybe a focus on building closer relationships, offering more custom solutions, especially for these, high-value displays.
Makes sense for complex tech. But I also saw that indirect sales, like through distributors, resellers, they still dominate overall.
That's right. Indirect channels just offer that much wider reach, the established networks you need for volume.
Gotcha. So direct is growing quickest, maybe for specialized projects, but indirect still moves the most units.
Precisely.
Okay, last segmentation point, installation. Indoor versus outdoor. We know indoor applications are growing fast. Does that translate to installation trends?
It does. Indoor installation is also driving the fastest growth, matching that application trend. Retail, corporate, entertainment installs are booming. But outdoor installation still actually dominates the market overall in terms of sheer volume.
Because of things like giant billboards, stadium screens, stuff that's been around longer.
Exactly. Those large-scale outdoor applications have a head start and represent significant volume.
Okay, so indoor growth is rapid, but outdoor is still the bigger market share today. Fascinating dynamics. All right, let's zoom out again. We've hit the market size, regions, segments. What about the core drivers fueling all this?
The report highlights 3 main ones. First, just the sheer visual improvement, enhanced resolution, better clarity. That's key.
People want better pictures.
Yep. Second, that growing demand specifically for indoor displays we keep mentioning.
Right.
And third, the increasing adoption in retail and entertainment sectors specifically. They're really embracing this tech.
And you can see why, right? Grabbing attention in a store, creating immersion at a concert, it directly impacts their business.
Absolutely. It connects right back to that overall demand for better visual experiences. Businesses see the value.
Okay, those are the tailwinds. What about headwinds? Any restraints holding back even faster growth?
2 main ones mentioned. First, cost. These fine pixel pitch displays involve expensive manufacturing processes.
Yeah, I bet.
That high cost can be a barrier, especially for smaller companies or projects with tighter budgets.
Makes sense. What's the other one?
Lack of standardized content.
Oh, interesting.
Meaning creating video or graphics that are truly optimized for these ultra-high resolutions can be challenging and costly itself. You need the right content to make the screen shine.
That's a really good point. Amazing screen. But if the video isn't up to scratch...
You lose the benefit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, drivers and restraints. Looking ahead, what about broader market trends? What direction is the industry heading in?
2 key trends stand out. No big surprise on the first one. Increasing demand for even higher resolution. The push for finer and finer pitches continues.
Always sharper.
Always sharper. And second, we're seeing growing adoption specifically in commercial and retail sectors, really reinforcing those application trends.
Right. Businesses trying to capture eyeballs. Now, the competition. Who are the big names here?
The report lists folks like Samsung, Lillard Optoelectronic, LG Display, Unilumin Group. Some familiar names in display tech.
And what are they focused on? How are they competing?
A lot of focus on R&D, obviously, pushing for higher definition, better energy efficiency. Product innovation is key.
Makes sense.
Also, strategies like collaborations, partnerships, and just expanding their manufacturing muscle to meet this growing demand.
Sounds like a lively space, especially, I imagine, in that ultra-fine pitch category for things like digital signs, broadcast control rooms.
Definitely. The report gave a couple of specific product examples that were quite illustrative.
Yeah, I saw those, like the LED Studios Aegis PR outdoor display. That launched back in September 2022.
That's the one, a narrow pitch outdoor LED kiosk solution.
What was special about it?
Key things were being waterproof, very bright, and offering pixel pitches down to 1.2 millimeter. The idea was a sustainable alternative to LCDs for outdoor digital advertising billboards, bus stops that you could view clearly, even up close.
Right, and it mentioned pitches like 1.5, 1.8, 2.5 millimeters too, and being tough enough for outdoor use without extra layers. Sounds robust.
It does. And then there was Planer's launch, October 2022, the Luminate Ultra series.
What was the story there?
Another outdoor fine-pitch LED wall, but this one emphasized super high brightness up to 3D 500 nits.
Wow, that's bright. Nits being the measure of brightness, right?
Exactly. So 3,500 nits means it's incredibly visible even in direct sunlight. Designed for close viewing, too, with coated LEDs for extra toughness.
Where would you use that?
Think transportation hubs, storefronts, maybe even fancy poolside cinemas.
Yeah.
Places with high ambient light. They offered 1.5 and 1.9 millimeter pitch options.
Okay, so both examples show that trend towards finer pitches moving outdoors, plus needing that brightness and ruggedness.
Precisely. It shows the tech maturing to handle more demanding environments, not just controlled indoor spaces.
Well, this has been a really insightful deep dive, pulling all this from that report you shared. Let's try and sum up the key takeaways for everyone listening.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we're definitely looking at significant growth for fine pixel pitch LED displays. Big jump expected from, what, $3.26 billion in 2025 to over $9.7 billion by 2033.
Driven hard by that desire for better, more immersive visual experiences.
Right. And while North America and Europe are the current leaders in market size,
Keep an eye on Asia Pacific. That's where the fastest growth is projected, around 17.5% CAGR.
yeah, that was a standout number. We're also seeing indoor applications and the 1 to 2 millimeter pixel pitch range as key growth segments right now.
And it's a really dynamic market overall. Chip advancements are boosting performance, cutting power use.
And the big players are competing fiercely through innovation, especially in commercial and retail sectors.
Exactly.
All right, so to wrap up, let's leave you with a thought. Considering this relentless push for higher resolution and how these displays are popping up everywhere from stores to broadcast studios, what unexpected areas might see a really significant impact from fine pixel pitch LED tech in the next few years? Think beyond the usual suspects we've discussed. Where else could these ultra-clear, increasingly adaptable screens totally change the game?
It's a good question. Makes you think about just how pervasive this visual tech might become.
Indeed. Something to ponder. Thanks for diving deep into this with us today.
My pleasure.
We'll catch you next time.